and cut and basically attract a bunch of defenders and leave Kyrie open for three, as opposed to Kyrie kind of getting all the bumps and bruises of doing his acrobatics in the paint. Because look, Kyrie can shoot. That's what's like amazing about him as well.
Kyrie can do everything. There's not a thing that Kyrie really can't do except play defense. And so Caris is a better defender than Bradley Beal. He's also bigger. You want Caris LeVert on the court with that type of player so that, one, he can also bring up the ball. He can create offense for other people. He's more of Kyrie as a point guard is a better passer. But for what a shooting guard is supposed to do, I believe Caris is a better playmaker for his teammates than Kyrie is. I think Kyrie almost plays at a speed faster than his teammates, where it almost looks like he's playing alone out there. Whereas Caris has this kind of like dance he does with Jared Allen, and he's finding Joe Harris whenever he's open in the wing. He just knows how to activate his teammates a little better than Kyrie. So he makes so much sense next to him. Whereas Bradley Beal is, I need the ball in my hands. I might shoot a set shot from three. I might dribble drive, but I'm gonna need to have value for what's happening on the court. I have to get 20 shots a game. Caris doesn't have to. This is I'm sorry. Maybe I'm going too far in a negative direction.
I think there's also something too, which I think is also how you feel, which is there's something to like this guy is one of the few guys who's like one of the Nets own at this point, who's like one of the earliest marks guys, and he just came off of being second team all bubble, which like you could say it doesn't mean that much. I think it's pretty awesome that he did that. You're basically saying he's one of the 10 best players in the bubble, and the immediate reaction is, instead of being like, oh, one of our own is doing awesome, it's like, oh, well, what can we get for him? I think it's generally kind of annoying.
Yeah, it just takes away from enjoying the moment. We'll look back. Like we could be looking back at this playoff season, and thinking back to some great games that happened, some players that emerged. But people aren't even watching the games. It's almost like they're watching the games to look out for any kind of topic or point that they were trying to make as proof. You know, I'm watching these games and I'm thrilled that they're way better. Like I don't know how they did it. Like, and going into the playoffs, I don't know what to expect. Like we're in the second half of the show. Sam and I are gonna break down the Nets and the playoffs, but I don't even know how to call what this is, because Timothy Luwawu-Cabarrot is a horrible basketball player, and he looked great. Garrett Temple is the most mediocre or below average high minutes basketball player that I've ever seen, and I also want to commend him again. I think I said it at the top of the show. Amazing leader, amazing spokesman for the Nets. That guy is going to either be a coach or a general manager or a politician when he leaves the NBA. But he's not a good basketball player. And for Jacques Vaughn to be getting what he's getting out of these guys, how is Jacques Vaughn even doing this? Like, Sam, make me understand, because I don't know how we got here.
I mean, I think to me, it kind of, again, I think it like kind of cuts both ways. There's something to a team playing with like kind of nothing to lose, which I think this Nets team kind of was playing with, and I think that definitely plays a role. But like at a certain point in a sport like the NBA, where talent matters so much, this isn't an NFL game or like a baseball game where where one pitcher can kind of hold you down for a while. Like,
right.
I mean, the Nets had some lineups that were like TLC, Tyler Johnson, Chiozza, like Kurucs and Justin Anderson. Like these are just not like this is just not like a normal NBA team, especially one that's competing for a playoff series. So I totally give it to Jacques. I think it was awesome. Look, I mean, it's probably a discussion for maybe a week or two from now, if and when maybe the Nets season is hopefully not over, whether he'll be able to ride that momentum to next year, I'm not sure. But
so I want to get my Jacques point off really quick.
Yeah, go for it.
So a friend of mine who knows basically gave me the perspective that kind of drives my thinking on Jacques Vaughn. He was like, Jacques Vaughn and Sean Marks are like best friends. I'm sure Sean Marks has a better friend that's not in basketball that he grew up with or something like that. Yeah. But him and Jacques Vaughn are super tight and have always been viewed by Pop when they were players. Like Pop kind of saw who in his players would make good coaches and general managers and basically kind of molded them and led them in that direction. Jacques Vaughn is like Pop's son. So all of this Popovich is coming in at the end of the season nonsense that ESPN is spinning is disgusts me. But the one that really disgusts me, and I'm going to be short on this, is Tyronn Lue. Tyronn Lue has no connections to Sean Marks. I don't even think they've ever played together, and I think. Matter of fact, they might have both been on that Suns teams when Allen Iverson stepped over him. But that brings me to my point. You don't want as your coach the guy Allen Iverson stepped over, especially not with Wild Kyrie and Kevin Durant trying to have control of the team as it is. Jacques Vaughn did the job for us. He took the team and he made them play a little different. It wasn't as scripted with this team. They took 2-pointers when they were open. They hunted for good shots. They moved the ball. And some scrubby players looked amazing. I don't know if Tyler Johnson is a good basketball player, but he added something to this team. And I was shocked to see it. You have to give Jacques Vaughn credit, no?
Oh, yeah. I mean, absolutely. I mean, like... look, I think the Tyler Johnson thing has to be a combination of coaching, and I just wonder if he finally got an opportunity. And I think from what I've read on Twitter, I don't know if he was fully healthy in Phoenix, whatever that was.
Yeah.
But look, I mean, like the thing is I think with a lot of these coaches, like when people want to puff someone up in one way, they will basically they'll basically negate all the things that kind of were going their way, and then if they want to put someone down, they'll do the opposite. And like, whether you think that, look, wins are wins, and the team went 5-3 in the bubble with a crap roster, as we said.
That roster was crap. Just say it. That was It was shit. It was horrible.
It was easily the worst roster in the bubble. It was. I mean, look, they got blown out. Their worst game of the year was the game against the Magic, who were the 8th seed.
Yep.
And who were probably the second or third worst team in the bubble, maybe after like the Kings or something. But like, roster wise, and like there was no reason, and the Wizards obviously, there was no reason the Nets should have been as good as they were. And there's also something too, and I think this is something we didn't even talk about. The Nets easily could have kind of rolled over and been like pardon my language, but like fuck the bubble,
yeah,
yeah. Let's go home, which I think is what we're.
And that was the mentality of their leaders. That's why I think this is so fascinating. What I'm watching is because their superstars were like, "Fuck the bubble."
Yep, they're like, "This is fake. This is like even if like you have to imagine." I'm thinking that basically like KD, Kyrie, DJ,
TP,
all those guys.
Hey, we got to talk about Falk, friends of Kyrie or KD. Those guys did not come, and the only ardent professional that came was Garrett Temple, where you got to give him even more credit because of that. You know, you have to see his value on the team because of that. Because Taurean Prince, DeAndre Jordan, the guys that they should be looking towards as leaders, they opted out. And these guys came to Orlando and balled out and made us proud. You got to give those guys credit, right?
Absolutely. And we should also say that, I think we've done a good job of not putting him in this bubble, but it's clear that Dinwiddie definitely wanted to come.
Oh, yeah.
And he easily had the worst COVID case out of all the guys on the team.
And he's cheering the team on. The rest of those losers, and I'm talking about you, Wilson Chandler, Taurean Prince.
Yeah.
You know, they're not even like posting things about their teammate. I don't see the excitement. You know, but I before we end this half, give me your best net of the bubble, and then give me your worst net of the bubble. First, give me your best, and then I'll give you my best.
I mean, I gotta say LeVert with Allen right underneath, and then
don't do the worst. Don't do the worst yet. Is that your best?
And TLC is definitely an honorable mention because he was just in some games I didn't know who I was watching.
Same. I'm gonna give it to Rodions. When Rodions was on the court, the Nets won. When they were having those shaky games early on, it was with him on the bench playing the 5. That was crazy. But he persevered it. He went out there. He played he didn't sulk. He didn't get mad about playing the center. And he just went out there and did his thing. He's my guy of the bubble. I didn't want to pick someone obvious, but he's my guy of the bubble. Now you give me your worst guy of the bubble, the guy who proved he's not an NBA player.
Unfortunately, is the guy who I like who I was super excited about, which was Chiozza, who's like basically like close to out of the rotation, especially because of Johnson. How about you?
Yeah, I was disappointed with Chiozza, but Justin Anderson has proved to me that you're not going to be 6'3" with, all he could do is he's a super athlete. I bet you he'd be an amazing football player. But he's not an NBA player. I like the grit. I like the toughness. Good dude, but not an NBA player for me. Dude, are you good to do it all again and take a quick break?
Absolutely, let's do it.
So we're gonna talk about the playoffs on the other side and basically give you our playoff predictions and break down how we're gonna roll out. Go ahead and switch. It's not even a matter of I want to do the whole we'll be back after no. Just press play on the next joint. We're the front office. It's me and Sam. The other half on the other joint.